I ain't ever gonna stop watching Big Unc and the Nephew.
And there he is. What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Man, we're doing great. We're doing great. Welcome to another episode of Big Unc and the Nephew. Today we got Spaceman Test Kitchen, aka Spaceman Knives. You guys may know of his incredible products that he has to offer. I know I personally own several. Got another one on its way right now. I can't wait to start using that thing too. But how's everything going, man? You're down there. You're in looks like in a hotel room.
I am. I'm actually down in Carlsbad right now. We're getting ready to go to the event over at SD Grill Pros tomorrow from 12 to 3. We'll be over there doing some knife demos and hanging out with all the cool kids from SoCal.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome, man. Hope you guys have a good time down there. What is this about? From what I've gathered, right? I've only seen a couple of things, but it looks like it's a veteran event, right? You guys either doing something
Yeah.
for the veterans or it's all veterans involved. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's really about thanking your heroes. So of course, Jessica from SD Grill Pros could probably do a better job explaining it than me, but they really wanted to thank all the military members, all the first responders, including nurses, police, paramedics, um, active and former military. So just wanted to have something where they could bring the community together and say thanks.
Oh, that's awesome. You guys cooking out there too? What up, Ed?
I'm not
Thank you,
going to be
brother.
I'm not going to be cooking, but there's
Mhm.
going to be a whole lot of people cooking. I know there's going to be some burgers and hot dogs as well as tacos and wings. They're going to have a whole bunch of stuff going down, so it's going to be some good food to eat down there as
That's
well.
awesome, man. How long are you going to be down in San Diego for? Carlsbad.
I had to be a quick trip for me, so I flew in today. I just got in here a few hours ago, and I fly out Sunday. So
Okay.
I'm really just here for basically a day and a half, basically.
Little
So
extended weekend almost kind of a thing.
yeah, exactly.
That's cool, man. Well, enjoy your time down. Have you ever been down there before?
Um, it's I've never been to San Diego before. Well, I drove through once when I was in high school, kind of. But so I've been to. I was actually down in SoCal just a few weeks ago. I was down here for a birthday party and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so don't get down here much. This time my wife had an opportunity to come with me, so we kind of decided last minute. Like it was literally Monday night. We had said no, we're not going. It's not really feasible to swing it. Then some things shifted in the schedule, and we were like, you know what? Let's hop on a plane at the end of the week and go to California.
Oh,
So
it's awesome. Well, enjoy the weather, man. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful down there. It's a little warm up here, but it's sunny. It's gorgeous, you
yeah,
know?
we've been laughing about that actually because it's 68 degrees and cloudy down here, and it's
Oh,
68
whoa.
degrees and cloudy in North Dakota right now.
Ah,
But I can see
you
the
brought
ocean from my room, so whatever, right?
you brought that weather with you, man.
Right? Just came right
Yeah.
with me. But like
There
I
you
said, I
go.
can see the ocean. You can't see that in North Dakota.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. Well, man, let's just kind of jump right in. So you're obviously you own Spaceman
Yeah.
Knives, something that's a
Yep.
pretty awesome brand. If any of you guys, if you're unaware, it's just really high quality, what I would consider top shelf quality knives. I love them. I've got several. I want to say I own maybe six of them at this point now. I got the latest and greatest drop. It's on its way right now. You guys can see it. It's pinned in the comment there. Go ahead and check out. It's that EM Wave Chef knife you guys just released. Beautiful, beautiful colorway. Tell me a
Mhm.
little bit about that your business, like specifically, how do you determine like the colorways, the colors that you guys decide to come out with? How do you choose the materials that you guys use? Where do you get a lot of that inspiration from?
Yeah. So, when we first started, we worked directly with the manufacturer, kind of gave them what we wanted, and they kind of helped us with all the design work and everything like that. It came out good. It was our Constellation series, still a series that we sell today. We learned a lot during that process, and I think we've just gotten better with time. So we've learned a lot more about securing and sourcing the appropriate stills. We have quality checks in place to make sure that we're meeting our quality standards that we outline for everything we produce. We've learned what handle materials we like and we don't like. There's an entire shelf full of prototypes in our shop that's just stuff that we tried out and we just didn't like it. So it'll never see the light of day, right? Like it just goes to the shelf. No, but we learn something every time we do that, right? So it's like we didn't like that handle material, but we like the blade shape, or we liked we like this, or we like that. So we learn something every time and try to get the best stuff to market and try to keep a good variety for people too, right? Because
Yeah.
the like that new EM Wave chef knife, it's that cool multicolored G10 layered. Um, I think it's sweet. I've already got some feedback that people are like, it's just not my style. It's like, oh,
Oh,
cool. Well, then buy one of the other knives, right? Like, it's a,
right. Exactly.
so it's a,
When
I'm
people
okay with
say
that.
something, when people say something like that, it's not their style. Do you think they're talking more of the color? Or do you think they're talking about the
Yeah.
material?
In this case, most people were referencing the handle that said something about it. And it was only like, two or three people out of the hundreds of comments I got about how sweet it was, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, cool, check out some of our other offerings. That's great. I mean, I've got my favorites in this selection too. So it's all
It's
good.
how
You kind of
it goes.
find what works for you from a feel standpoint, from a look standpoint, and rock it. I just go for it.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I love the most about your knives personally. I love the feel of them. I love the balance of the weight of them. Right.
Hmm.
I've got a lot of different knives, right, from a ton of different manufacturers. Some of the biggest names in knives. I guess I was thinking for a better word than biggest names in knives, but I've got some from a little bit of something from everybody, and ultimately I tend to go back to yours, man. I love the feel of it in the hand. I love how long the sharpness lasts. Your knives seem to be stay significantly sharper than a lot of the other ones I've got.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about the craft, right? So I don't know if that has a lot to do with the material. I don't know if it has to do with the forging process or whatever the case may be. But I'll tell you what, just like want to give you your flowers, man. They're incredible
Yeah.
knives.
I appreciate that, and I'll take those flowers all day long. You hit the nail on the head, though. It's really about there are two things really when it comes down to when you're talking about blade integrity, how long it's going to stay sharp. The first one is what material you use. So we primarily, in the majority of our knives, use Japanese steel, OS 10 steel, VG 10 steel, or a really close comparable equivalent to that. That allows us to get up in that 60 to 62 hardness rating.
Hmm.
But if it's not heat treated right, you'll never get that result. And that's where those quality checks really come into play. Um, we actually ordered some knives that were, quite frankly, just like ours from a spec standpoint. As a matter of fact, it was our design that another manufacturer had taken. It's really hard to protect knife designs, so if they get stolen, they get stolen. Quite honestly,
Yeah,
we ordered some because we wanted to see how they compared, and they just didn't hold up. They actually used the same still, but they didn't use the same heat treating process, which resulted in a blade that just didn't last as long, quite honestly. So it's one of those things where that's where we kind of take those extra steps, that extra attention to detail. Um, it's yeah, it's something that's important to us. Spend a lot of time on the weight, the feel, the balance. Want to make sure that it's just going to feel good in the hand at the end of the day.
for sure, man. You get no fatigue, right? You can spend all day long. If you're doing a massive catering event, you need to trim up a bunch of briskets, a bunch of tri-tips. Like you go out there, you're gonna be, or maybe you're slicing, 30 different tri-tips, right? You're not gonna get any fatigue from using these knives. That's why I really like them a lot.
Yeah,
Uh, I,
yeah.
I wish I knew the series, like you do. Obviously, you can see one. You know exactly what series it is, for me to be able to share with you which ones I have. But I know I got a little bit of everything. It feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a yeah. I can't remember exactly what you have either. I'd have to pull it up to look. But yeah, it's a, and that's what most of our customers do. We have a few customers that are like, "Hey, you need to expand this lineup because I need this knife with this handle so it matches the rest of them." But most of our customers are like, I want one of these, and this is what you have. And so yeah, we have a lot of variety. We don't have every knife in every style. It's just not sustainable to do that, quite honestly. So we
And to be
pick and
honest, I
choose that
kind
a
of
little bit.
prefer it that way. I'm not looking to build out one style and have every single knife available in that style. I like having, you open up my knife drawer and you just have all sorts of different form factors, all sorts of different colors to choose from. These things are awesome, man. I think it's a pretty cool thing that you're doing. Definitely stands out against a lot of the competition out there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think we try to do, I feel like I'm tooting my own horn here a little bit, but a lot of it's about the customer service. Truly, if you message us, if you call the number that's listed on the website, if you shoot a message through the website, if you shoot an email to us, it's going to be me that responds most of the time. If it's not me, it's going to be my wife that responds to you. So it's I mean, we're truly a small family-owned business. My wife and kids help us package up knives and take them to the post office. Like it's all happens out of the back of our house. Quite honestly, don't tell the city because they don't like that. But whatever.
Hey, I understand that, man. You and I were in the same boat. Small business, family ran. I get a ton of help from my family as well for my business. So grassroots, man, and it's awesome. It's the feedback from what I see, man. You're all over. Everyone uses your knives. Everyone praises your knives. And but what made you get into it? Right? Were you a tool maker? Were you have you always been into knives?
I mean, I, I mean, most guys are into sharp things
Yeah,
and fire,
yeah,
right? Sharp things and
yeah.
fire. It's kind of what you're into. I don't know. Um, Actually, what happened? So I started the barbecue account back in 2019. Spaceman Test Kitchen used to be Spaceman Barbecue.
Yep.
We're doing a little bit of rebranding, and we can talk more about that later if you want. But I started that back in 2019. We started blowing up a little bit during COVID, like a lot of accounts did, which was kind of unexpected, but we were doing well. And we got contacted by a knife company that said, "Hey, we'd love to put your logo on some of our knives." I like, "Hey, that'd be cool, right?" And they sent me this contract. Well, in my day job, I read contracts all day, every day. And I read this contract and I was like, no, I'm not going to sign over my name, image, and likeness in perpetuity for a set of knives. Basically, that's not going
No.
to, because if, at that point, it would have been like a pretty sweet deal. But kind of thinking about the future of, I would really limit me in the future. So we decided not to do that. And, but I reached out to a friend of mine. I had a buddy, he used to work for Gerber and Kershaw, and he'd actually started his own knife company. It was more outdoor oriented in the hunting knife space and stuff like that. I said, hey, what do you think about this? And he goes, hey, I've got all the connections in manufacturing and everything like that. If you have an idea of what you want, I can put you in contact with the right people. Because I had that connection, we were able to do a really low minimum order quantity for our first production run.
Oh,
So
that's good.
normally it's hundreds or sometimes even thousands to get a new product made, right? They let me do 20,
Oh,
and
that's
which was just insane.
nice.
And we were like, well, me and my wife talked about it. I was like, if nothing else, we'll have some really cool Christmas gifts for people, right? And they came and we posted them on Instagram and we sold out in 15 minutes.
I don't doubt that, man. I
And
really don't.
we were like, well, that was cool. So we ordered some more. And we're like, when we started out, it was like, it'd be really cool if we could make an extra few $100 a month, just to kind of help out with bills and whatnot. And it just blew up really fast from there. And so it's been going for 4 years now and just keeps going strong and keeps getting bigger. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's incredible, man. Do you remember the first knife you ever had, right? Maybe you were a kid, you got it from your grandpa, your Swiss Army knife or something.
So
What's the first knife you've ever had?
yeah, my very first pocket knife was a knockoff buck knife that my dad gave me. It was
Oh, that's cool.
not a real buck knife, but it looked like one. And that was my first ever knife. It gutted a lot of fish out of the creek behind our house. Um, my first real chef knife was actually when I went on a competition on Instagram, and
Oh,
I still
wow.
have it. It was made by a company called Griffin, I think, or something like that.
Oh,
Um, don't see them on social media much anymore, but I think they're still around. Anyway, that was my first ever kind of real chef knife, and I was like, that's where I kind of thought, when it kind of like automatically replaced all those knives that we got for our wedding 20 years prior, right? Like you had all these old knives, and you're like, this is our best knife. As you're like, so it was good. It was good, and that's kind of built from
there
there.
you go. What do you do first when you get a brand new knife, right? When let's say you get your order, they come in, you open up one. I'm assuming you keep one for yourself at
Oh
everything,
yeah,
right? More than
I,
likely.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have one of everything.
What's the first thing
I
you do with it?
I typically get out some vegetables and promptly cut myself with it. Usually, is usually what happens.
There you go. What would you yeah, there it is. There's a fresh one right there.
Yep.
What would be something you recommend to people? Maybe they're just getting into cooking, they're nervous about, what kind of knives they need. They see people on social media, they're using all kinds of what looks like fancy knives and things. What would be something you would recommend as like a entry level knife for someone? Would you go straight with a chef knife or what would you say?
100%. An 8-inch chef knife is the most versatile tool you can have in your kitchen.
Hmm.
You can do anything and everything with an 8-inch chef knife. Now, it's not gonna be the best at everything, but it can do it, right? Like if you need to peel an apple with an 8-inch chef knife, you can do it. I wouldn't recommend it. You're probably gonna cut your finger, but you could do it. Um, it's kind of the do all. It's like the SUV of the knife world, right? Like you can take it a little bit off road. You can take the kids to soccer practice. It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it all for you. And then from there, it's what kind of cooking do you do? That's a conversation I have with people all the time, and like I have people who are like, well, we have a good chef knife. I just don't know what we need next. It's like, well, tell me what kind of cooking you do, because if you're
Yeah.
trimming lots of big chunks of meat, you probably need a good trimming knife of some sort. You need a boning knife or a sharp utility knife. If you're doing a lot of prep work, like lots of soups and stuff like that, get a Nakiri, because the slicing action on a Nakiri really it'll speed you up once you learn how to use it. Quite honestly, because it's just that one flat stroke. So it just depends on what you're going to do with it. But always start with a good 8-inch chef knife. That's always my recommendation.
Perfect. Good answer. Good answer. Now, outside of the knife stuff, right? Because obviously we can talk about knife stuff all day long.
Oh, yeah.
How long have you been cooking for? Obviously, that's probably what was a big start for you in the knives.
Yeah. So that was a little bit progressive. So I grew up cooking a little bit. And like my parents, I came from a family of 4 boys, and my parents believed that we should know how to do anything we needed to do to survive. So we all knew how to do laundry. We all knew how to cook basic dishes, right? Like I wouldn't say I was a good cook as a kid, but if you asked me to cook a hamburger or a steak or something like that, I could do it. I'm not saying it'd come out right, but I could cook a steak. I could do, um, you know, macaroni. I could do spaghetti, whatever. So I kind of grew up with just learning some of the basics.
Okay.
And then we were living in Nebraska. My wife's from Texas. And we were
Oh,
living in Nebraska for a little bit. And there was this guy talking, kind of lived next door to us, and was kind of bragging about how good his barbecue was. And they brought us some over one night. And it wasn't bad, I would say. I'm kind of looking at my wife for, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't Texas barbecue, right? And my
Mhm.
wife's like, and my wife made the comment to me of, I haven't had good barbecue since I left Texas. And I was like, well, then I'm going to see if I can learn how to make good barbecue. Um, so I started out with a smoker from the Bargain Bin at Cabela's. They used to have the Bargain Cave at back at Cabela's. I don't think they have them anymore.
Yeah.
And there was a old it was a propane one that used the little wood chips and stuff in there. And I'll tell you what, like I actually turned out some pretty good barbecue on that thing for somebody that was just learning. And upgraded there to a Brinkman offset. I don't know if you remember Brinkmans. They're made out of like really sheet thin metal. You could buy them at big box stores.
No.
Thought it was so cool because I had this cool offset, and I mean, you could have punched a dent in it if you wanted to. But it was, but what I learned from that was I learned so much about fire and temperature management, because it didn't hold any heat, right? So it was all about the fire management. Like you had to control the heat that way. And then we upgraded from there. Now I have a small arsenal of smokers and grills on my back patio, like a lot of guys do nowadays. And I have my big custom built offset back there. I've got my Pit Boss pellet grill. I've got, you know, whatever I want to use, it's back there. So,
Something for everything, really, right?
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know. I think we all suffer from that same disease, man. Where is your wife okay with it too, or is she like, come on, babe, another grill? You don't need another grill.
She loves it actually. She's sitting here in the room with me. So,
Oh, hello.
yeah. She uses them too. She actually loves using the. She started using the. I had a Green Mountain grill before I got the Pit Boss, and so she really started using the pellet grills quite a bit. So she loves being able to throw stuff on, around lunchtime, having really good dinner ready to go. She's not a stranger to throwing something on the Weber, and cooking something over charcoal. So she actually jumps in and helps out a lot with stuff. So yeah, she doesn't mind at all, and we both like cooking, so we kind of she cooks a lot during the week. I cook a lot on the weekends, and
There you
just
go.
yeah.
You got a
So
system that works for you guys.
exactly,
There you go. How about the kids? You've got kids, right? Young kids. I've seen them in your videos a lot.
I have 5 kids, man.
Five
Too many.
kids.
Yeah, 5, and a
Dang.
grandson. The
When's
grandson's not big enough to cook yet.
You've got a
Oh
grandson already?
yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
you look a lot too young to have grandkids already, man.
I would probably agree with you,
Are you
but
my age? I'm 40, 42, 41. I'm 41. Are you younger than me?
And I'm older than you.
You
I'm 45.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, no. So
I'll,
it's still,
yeah.
that's
I'll,
grandparent age though.
yeah, I'll be 46 in like a month. So I mean, I'm old enough to be a grandparent, but too young to feel like one, I guess.
I know what you mean. I'm just old enough to forget how old I am. Like you saw it right
Right.
there. I was
Right.
doing math.
Well, it was me looking to the side at my wife for confirmation. I'm like, I'm 40, 45. Is that right? I don't know. It was,
So
yeah.
that's cool. Is it a granddaughter or a grandson?
Grandson. We really just do boys in my family. I come from a family of 4 boys. I've got 5 boys. It's a whole history of things.
You know what? That's
But
relatable. I come from a family of all boys, and that's what I have is two boys too.
that's
So that's
awesome.
cool. Yeah. Do you guys are they into cooking too? Or
You know,
they get involved or?
so all of my a lot like I grew up, all of my kids can cook the basics, right? Like they can. Not all of them are real passionate about it. My Yeah, my second one was actually working as a kitchen manager here not too long ago, so he was working on the restaurant side of things for a little bit. My 11-year-old is the one that has kind of a passion for it, though. He likes doing it. We make videos sometimes. Lehigh Mills, which makes like muffin mixes and pancake mixes and stuff like that. They sent him a bunch of stuff to make, so that was a lot of fun. So he got to do some stuff with that. Kind of got his own little sponsorship, right?
That's
And
awesome. Good for him.
yeah, so he jumps in and helps out. He's a good kid. He's 11, so we don't force it on him by any
Yeah.
means. But when he wants to do something, we encourage it. And if he says, "Hey, I want to do this and I want to make a video," it's like, "Cool, let's do it." But if he's not in the mood, I'm not going to force it. It's
Smart.
do it because you love it, not because Dad's saying you have to.
For sure. Same thing with sports. I believe it's important not to force your kids into the sports, right? A lot of times us as parents, we kind of try to live through our kids, right? Maybe we want to have them do the things that we really used love doing when we were kids. Maybe we want to have them do the things that we didn't do as kids that we always wanted to, you know? But I
Right.
think it's important. It's important to introduce them, but not force them into doing it. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Absolutely. Our only rule with that was if you sign up and you start, you have to finish the season.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to play next season, that's fine. But if you signed up and you started, you at that point made a commitment to your coach, you made a commitment to your team. You have to finish. Once you're finished for the season, you don't have to re-up. So
We have the same rule, man. We have a lot in common. I'm coming to find out. It's pretty cool.
yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah,
So
my 11-year-old son is the same. Where he's out here. He cooks a lot. He's really interested in coming out and cooking a lot. He also does love baking too. So I'm gonna say it's probably twice a week, if not at least once a week. My wife will come home from the store and she's got some cookies or some muffins or whatever it is that he saw that he picked out that he's gonna be cooking. So he has a fun time baking and barbecuing, which is cool.
absolutely, and what we found with a lot of that stuff is, it's yeah, you can take the time and make it all from scratch, but especially at that age, if there's like something in a box that they can add a couple of eggs to, that they can whisk together, that like it just helps the process a lot and helps them get comfortable with it, helps them learn about using the oven and making sure it all comes out correct, and it's that's really the more important part of that phase. So yeah, we love doing stuff like that.
Absolutely. You want to limit any discouragement, right? If you
Right.
can, right? The last thing you want to do is have them get upset because their formula was off. They didn't have enough flour. They didn't have enough this or that. So yeah, I would agree. The box mixes, the canned cinnamon rolls, stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's a great entry point for them for sure.
exactly. And then when they want to start doing stuff on their own, I mean, there are times I make stuff from scratch just because I want to try it once, right? Like I, so and it's great because you learn stuff, right? Like um, I made homemade tortillas a few years back, and it was the first time I'd done it. And I swore I would never do it again until I got a tortilla press because it was trying to roll them out and get them perfect. I was like, this is, I'm never doing it again.
Exactly.
Now I have a tortilla press that I haven't used, but that's one of these days I'll do it. But yeah,
That's cool,
so
man. Let's talk about some of the stuff that you guys like to cook, maybe don't like to cook. Is there anything that specifically that you stay away from? Foods maybe you don't like? Maybe something that a lot of people do like, but you just can't pick up on it, you know?
You know, I'm probably gonna get crucified for saying this, but I don't like making wings. Like
Oh.
I love eating wings. I love eating them, but like I don't know, like just I don't know.
Well,
I
that's been this episode of Big Unc and the Nephew. We'll see you guys next week. And
done. Love eating them. Like I have no
yeah,
problem with that. It's just not my favorite thing to cook. It's just all these little pieces of meat, and you're trying to manage them on a grill. And it's not that they're hard. It's just you have all these little pieces, and you're flipping them. I don't know. It's just not my thing.
yeah, it's
Um,
you don't get the juice isn't worth the squeeze for you ultimately, right on the
yeah,
wings.
that and a couple years back when lollipop chicken was really a big thing. I know people
Oh,
still do it, but it was
yeah.
really a big thing. I was like, I did it once. I was like it makes it look cool, but like it has like no real added benefit. I'm gonna be honest. Like it just took a lot of time.
I
So
wholeheartedly agree on the lollipops, man. It's just too much. It's just too much prep work for such little result at the end. You know what I
yeah,
mean? If I'm gonna prep that much, I'd rather be prepping some potatoes and veggies for like a pot roast or something. I
right,
don't want to spend that much time just cleaning up a chicken leg.
right. Yeah,
Any foods you just don't enjoy eating either? Like,
man, I'll eat just about anything. If you
okay.
put it in front of me, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Yeah, we eat pretty much everything. Like even my kids aren't picky eaters either. They never really had that choice, but they'll eat. I mean, so yeah, I can't think of anything that we don't really like. We cook a little bit of everything. So
There you go. You get any tri-tips out there?
yeah, we can get tri-tip. We have to get them from about an hour away. I cook a lot of tri-tip. I love tri-tip. It's we have to go to the butcher shop that's in the city about an hour away to get tri-tip. Um, I've tried getting them at the local butcher shop, and we get something different every time. It's never been a tri-tip, but it's one time it was a picana, which I was like, that's a fair trade. Like I'll take that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
uh, yeah, so it's like it's actually was a joke in my ambassador group chat for a little while because I'd be like, hey, I got a tri-tip from the butcher shop. Let's see what it actually is. And there were several times again, I have what 25 people in there that all cook on a regular basis, and we're all looking at this chunk of meat, and like none of us can identify it. We're like, it's a piece cut off the end of a roast somewhere. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah,
it was anyway.
it's a eye of round trimmed into a triangle, huh?
Right, something. It was so yeah, we typically pick those up an hour away. It's a good local butcher shop. There's just not a lot of tri-tip in North Dakota, right? So it's I mean, if I went in there and said, "Hey guys, this is what I'm looking for," and showed them pictures, they could probably figure it out. But it's that just seems awkward. So like, so we're over in the city often enough. We just pick up two or three at a time, and that or I get them from Butler Beef, who I work with quite a bit.
Okay.
They ship to them. They ship to me, so I get them from them as well.
Awesome. It's one of my personal favorites. Obviously, being a Cali boy, that's kind of what we were raised on. Not
Yeah,
not not too many of us have brisket, that often. As a kind of a once in a blue moon, we'd have a brisket, but tri-tip, that's a almost a weekly occurrence, for most of us out here.
yeah. I tell people all the time, like, all things considered, I would rather do tri-tip than brisket because
Yeah.
now there's nothing like a perfectly cooked brisket. Like that and tri-tip are not the same thing. They're two very different meals, quite honestly. I don't think it's really a comparable thing. I think they're two different things. But a tri-tip, even if you smoke and reverse sear a tri-tip, um, I don't believe in cooking them past medium rare. All you guys that like to cook them like briskets, do your thing. I'm fine with it. You do your thing. I'm going to do it my way. Even if you smoke it and reverse sear it, you're still done well under 3 hours on a tri-tip.
Exactly.
You do a full packer brisket, somewhere between 10 and 24 hours later, you finally get to eat. It's and like I said, it's a great meal, but I don't know, pound for pound, tri-tip's my go-to. It's I think for the time and investment you put into it, you just get something better for the all things considered. It's a better ROI.
I would agree
So
wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. It's hard to beat that. How quickly you can just pull it around together, right? Brisket. I don't think I've ever done a brisket faster than 20 hours.
yeah, by the time you rest and everything, you're pushing it out there. It's And with brisket, the longer you can rest it, but keep it up above, that 135, 140-ish range, that, I mean, it's just going to come out great at that point. So you just let it sit and keep it warm, and you're going to have a good result. But yeah, they take some time. I have noticed I can do them a lot faster in my pellet grill than I can in my offset.
Yeah.
It's which is a smaller chamber, probably a little bit more accurate temperature control in there, but but still, flavor's not quite the same either. If I do brisket, I like that wood fired flavor, like real logs.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have a specific type of wood you prefer? You prefer
I
using
use
on a cook like that?
Yeah, I use mostly hickory for everything. I find it's a kind of just a good neutral wood for everything. You can use it for your white meats and your red meats. I'll run some fruit wood for pork or chicken, but a lot of times I just run hickory.
Gotcha. We were talking about good sides earlier. This sun beaming right in my face. That's not a good look. I'm gonna shift this over to the side here and try to capture that better. Sorry, guys.
So we got a question for you in the chat.
Yeah,
Which one of your knives do you find yourself reaching for the
good
most?
question.
You gotta
Um,
pick one of your favorite kids.
It is. It's like picking one of your favorite kids. Absolutely. The truth is, it's probably whichever one is the newest one, right? Like, because that's what I'm playing with. It's the new shiny toy in the arsenal. I get the benefit of playing with all of them. So right now, it's probably that EM Wave chef knife. I love the feel of the handle. I think it has a really nice rocker on the blade. It's just a really nice knife. My go-to, like, if they were just all lined up sitting right there, I love the Interstellar series. I think the Interstellar series is really well balanced. They're a little bit heavier than some of our other knives, which I prefer. Some people like a light knife, some like it a little bit
Mhm.
heavier. Our knives are all on the lighter side as far as chef knives are concerned because they're Japanese style. Japanese style tends to be lighter than the European style, but I like Japanese style a little bit on the heavier side. So the Interstellar series is just a great go-to. But yeah, it's really kind of whatever's the newest. I've been loving playing with that new Perseus hybrid as well, which is kind of a mix between a chef and a cleaver knife. That thing's just a beast on ribs. I was I have footage of it. I didn't post it, but I probably could just for fun. It was I was slicing ribs with it the other day, and you'd think I never sliced ribs before. I crossed right through a bone with the knife. I didn't even notice I was cut through a bone
Oh
with it. I just
wow.
went right through it. I was like, and then I'm looking at it, I was like, man, you'd think I never cut ribs before. Like I can't get it between the bones, but I didn't even notice it. So anyway,
That's cool.
Uh,
Is that the Interstellar series? Is that the purple one? The purplish one?
yeah, it's like a dark bluish color
Dark bluish
with
one?
honeycomb, or it's available in olive wood as well.
I got the Nikiria, and it's a purplish one.
Yeah.
You know what series that is?
That's probably one of the earlier Interstellar ones. We used to kind of have this two-tone honeycomb handle on it that was supposed to be like a dark blue fading to a red, but really that's purple in a lot of cases, and it varied by set. We're actually not able to get that same epoxy anymore. So,
That's it right there.
oh,
That's what I'm talking about.
that's the Gravity series. That's
Gravity
one of our newer
series.
series as well.
That's
Yeah.
the knife. That's that one. As soon as it came in, I was like, "Oh, I got to give this to my wife. I know she's gonna love this." So I don't get
this
to
one's
use
my
it as often. That's
favorite.
her. That's her go-to. Yeah, I love that knife. I love how it feels in the hand,
Yeah,
for
you can get
sure.
that with the green G10 handle as well, which is pretty sweet. I like the green G10 handle on it just because it's a little bit textured. So when your hands get greasy and slippery, like it just gives you a really positive purchase on it. And it's kind of rugged looking. So your wife can have the purple one, you can have the green one.
There,
Problem solved.
there you go. All right. Well, keep an eye out on the those orders coming in. I might have to place another one.
Yeah.
You
All right,
guys
so we got a
gonna
couple
have
more
any time to have some
questions.
fun out there? Sorry, Nick.
We
Very good.
To answer Nick up top's question, not a whole lot of time to do a lot of fun stuff. We're gonna be over at Grill Pros this weekend, and yeah, that's kind of the only thing we really have planned. We've had a couple of invites tonight to go hang out with people, so we'll see what happens with that.
Okay.
But we kind of just came again. It was short notice, so we kind of came out here with no plan at all. We're staying right by the beach, so we'll probably wander over there at some point. You have to, right? North Dakota, and you're that close to the beach, you have to
Yeah,
go.
you need to
So
dip your toes, bro.
yeah.
You have to. Go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry to interrupt the questions.
No, you're good. If you're not using a spaceman knife, what would be another knife you'd use?
Oh,
Spaceman.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd use a spaceman knife. No, gosh, truth is, there's a lot of great knife brands out there. Is the truth. Some I like more than others. But I don't know. That's a tough question to answer. But there are other good quality brands out there. Is the truth of it. I'd probably reach for Messermeister or one of those before some of the other brands. But yeah, I don't know.
No?
I've got so many knives in my house. It would be a. I actually have a stack of knives in a corner somewhere of knives that I had from before. So I got that one knife I told you about. Then I collected some other knives, and then I started my own company. So they just all got shoved to the side. And so it was so I've got a pile of knives that I don't use that are right along those lines. And again, we actually use those to look at and say, what do we like and what do we not like about these? And um, I think we corrected for a lot of that stuff. So it's I like our product, but that's I might be biased, maybe just a little.
It's a great
Understandable.
pro- it's a
What
great
kind of
product.
question
That's
was
why.
that, Dan? What the hell?
Yeah, blame it on Dan's dirty dishes.
I'm
Um,
just
And
teasing, brother.
his next
are you
shipment's
planning on
gonna have something in it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
seriously. You're gonna send him
ma-
one of them shitty knives.
maple syrup all over the box?
Yeah,
There you go.
seriously.
Are you planning on making any more wood handles or any more knives with wood handles?
Yeah. So we have some ideas in line for the Perseus series, which is a olive wood handle that will probably expand that lineup some more. And we have some stuff on the board. Nothing that's close to production yet, but we have some stuff on the board that will involve wood handles as well. Um, the re- we don't avoid wood handles, but what we find is that uh, people want a good knife that they don't want to spend a lot of time taking care of, right? That's so wood handles you do have to take care of. You have to treat them just like your cutting boards. I use some. I oil them when I oil my cutting boards to make sure that the wood stays nice and healthy. Um, you, yeah, so that's just yeah. You have to take care of the wood. So what we find is most of our customers prefer the non-wood handles or the mixed handles that are wood and epoxy. So that's yeah, but we'll do some more all wood handles in the future. It's just not on deck yet.
I love the epoxy ones, man. Those
Yeah,
are awesome.
yeah, they look cool, right?
Yeah,
And they're still functional. There's nothing wrong with looking good as long as it's still functional.
exactly, exactly. What about outside of this stuff, man? What are you guys into when you're not barbecuing, when you're not running the business? You guys just have a little free time. You're trying to unwind. What do you guys like to do? You guys into go to the movies? You golf? You ride motorcycles? Is there
It
something you guys
looks.
do?
I mean, I have a full time job, and we have the knife business, and I have 5 kids. I don't. What's free time?
There
No,
is
it's
no free time, huh?
now
Yeah,
we
this is your free time right here.
right now we actually like we do like camping and fishing and hiking and those type of things. We try to make it to Yellowstone at least every other year and spend a week in Yellowstone camping and stuff like that. So uh, yeah, just whatever. We don't have any like super big hobbies outside of this. It's our big hobbies are really knives and barbecue and whatever the kids are doing. So
Understood. What are they in any sports too?
so my older kids
Currently?
were all in sports. My I have the two I have left at home. One of them is graduating this year, and he didn't play any sports his senior year here. My 11-year-old, he's a big kid. He's one of the biggest kids in his class, and he wears a size 11 shoe. His
Oh,
feet are bigger than mine
geez.
are,
Yeah.
and but so everybody thinks he plays football and all that kind of stuff, but he prefers the solo sports. He likes to play tennis and stuff like that. So tennis and golf and whatever. So he that's kind of where he focuses his energy.
I could relate, man. I always preferred individual sports over team sports. Like I would play pickup games, play in the neighborhood. I'd play basketball with the neighborhood kids and stuff like that. But when it came to school or with a league, I always shied away from the team sports and always did the individual sports.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's and I think that's a personal preference. I think
Hmm.
yeah, our 11-year-old, like he did football for a year, and again, being one of the biggest kids his age, he hurt somebody, not intentionally, but he felt super bad about it, and he was just like, yeah, I don't have any interest in doing that. I don't want to hurt people. That's so never like he finished out the season and then he didn't want to play football anymore. And so it's like, all right, played baseball a
Gotcha.
couple of seasons. When we moved to North Dakota, from where we were at before, baseball is very competitive in North Dakota, and he didn't grow up in a super competitive baseball environment, so he was just kind of it wasn't fun for him, right? Because he thought he was going to show up and just have a fun game of baseball like he had when we were in Oregon. He showed up and these kids are like, they're doing the drills and they're taking it super seriously, and he's like, yeah, no, that's not what I want to
Yeah.
do. Like, so
But look,
anyway,
good for him though to be able to like acknowledge that that's not something that's in his wheelhouse,
right.
and good on you guys for giving him like the leeway and making sure that he feels comfortable telling you guys like, nah, that's not really something I want to do. So that's good parenting, and it's also good intuition on your son's part. Speaking for himself. At
Right.
11, sometimes that's not always the case at 11.
Right. It's hard for even some adults to advocate for themselves, let alone at 11 years old. But
Yeah,
and I'm not going to say he's always the best at it, but we always try to encourage our kids to speak up if they don't like something, and we'll deal with it. Right? Like we may not even agree with it. We may have to explain to them why they've got to do something that they don't want to do, but at least we can have that conversation at that point.
absolutely. No, I think that's the right way to go about it, man. I appreciate your parenting style,
Oh,
even
thank you.
with as little that I'm finding out right here.
Right. It's really my wife more than me, if we're going to be honest. She's the much better parent out of the two of us, but she does a great job.
Relatable, relatable. I understand that. I think it's my job. I try to make sure these kids are raised as good, strong men. And
Yeah.
she's really good at nurturing and taking great care of them and things like that. But it's a big, big piece of my parenting style is just to make sure that they grow up, they can be accountable, they can be trustworthy, they've got great work ethic. Yeah, and I think I do a pretty good job of that. That's at least I like to think I do.
Yeah, and it's a we always joke about that it's hard as a parent because you do your best. Like I think almost all parents do their
Yeah.
best, right? And but at the end of the day, kids still have their own personalities. They're still going to make their own choices. They're still going to do their own thing sometimes, despite what you've tried to teach them. But that's just the way it goes.
Hmm.
So
Exactly. Nick, we have some more good questions in here for him.
Yeah, we do. So Sunny Zapata's asking, how much do you love the Texas Longhorns?
Yeah, that was a question that he had asked.
I don't know if you heard my wife swear from the other side of the room. So my wife grew up in College Station, Texas, which is home to the Aggies. There's a long-standing rivalry between the Aggies and the Longhorns.
Mm.
Um, we're not even allowed to wear orange in our house because that's the Longhorns color. So, yeah, no, we do not like the Longhorns at all at our house. It's not allowed.
They're a good team if they're playing someone known Texas.
Yeah, she'll occasionally begrudgingly root for them if they're playing Alabama, though. So that's
Is that your guys' main rival? Is Alabama?
well, for years it was the Longhorns, and then the Aggies went to the SEC, and so then they didn't play for a while. So Alabama kind of became the main team that the Aggies wanted to beat. But
LSU.
Alabama's kind of like the kind of like the Patriots or the Yankees, right? Everybody hates
Oh,
them because they were good, right? Like it's like it's a
Oh, but they have privilege from the Reds.
right. So it's a anyway. But yeah, Sonny, you're gonna get something special in your next package too, man. Just for asking that question again.
Another question is, where about in North Dakota are you from?
I am about an hour west of Fargo in a little town called Valley City.
Awesome. And we also had some requests in the chat for a Strong Arm Big Unk Spaceman knife series, a collab knife series.
How cool! I have the one of one, baby. I already have it. He's already done it, man.
Yeah,
The prayers have already been
yeah.
answered, and I got that already.
There's
So I got a question. Are you
yeah.
gonna make any more tattooed themed knives?
We are. We have one in the works. I've got it. It's delayed on my end. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think the design is already mostly done. I've just got to finalize some stuff on my end and get some more in stock that that we can tattoo. So those were an awesome collab between myself and a tattoo artist who goes by Pete Falla, Petefala on Instagram. Can't remember his real name right now, but I know Nick knows him. So Pete, it's Pete. Anyway, super good dude. He did that design for us, and we have a in-house laser, so we took his design and laid it out on the blade, and we're able to just burn it right onto the blade, and it was they just came out great. So yeah, we do plan on doing some more. When we do them again, they will be a limited edition. So those ones like the one you just showed, I think we only did 23 of them. The intent was to do 25, but I was new to my laser and I might have ruined a couple of them. So I think we sent 23 out to the public, or 22 out to the public, and kept one, I think is what we did. So there's only 23 of them in existence, and we'll do the same thing with the next batch. It'll probably be a limited edition run of 25 of them. And that's all that will go out there. So it's kind of like making an art print, right? Like you only do so many, and that's what's out there. So
That is cool, man. That is awesome. Well, if you need any help, if you need some consultation on which different artists you might want to look at, I know a couple of them myself as well.
yeah, that's awesome.
I think
That's awesome.
one with some dope script that says Spaceman across it might be pretty cool. You know,
that could be cool.
Yeah.
That absolutely could be.
obviously. And by the way, I hate when people tell me, you know what you should do, you know what you should do. So I apologize right now for saying that.
No, I always take those ideas and I'll noodle them a little bit and decide whether I like it as an idea or not. You know, if it's a
Yeah.
great idea, then I hardly ever do it exactly how somebody tells me to, but it's like, you know what, I can take part of that idea and I can do something cool with it.
Yeah.
Or I just throw it in the trash because it's not going to work for me, right? Like it might be cool for somebody, but it's not going to be cool for me right now. So
Yeah. I get a lot of bad ideas
Yeah.
thrown my way.
I've got a tablet full of bad ideas, man.
I bet,
Like,
dude. I bet we probably get them from the same people.
right.
We probably
It's
get
a-
them from the same folks.
Yeah, and even myself sometimes I come up with plenty of bad ideas on my own and they seem like the best idea in the world at 2 a.m. right? I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna be so awesome. You wake up the next day, you're like, yeah, no, that's never gonna work.
What was I thinking? Yeah, I know what you mean. I know you've only got a few more minutes here, man. We definitely don't want to keep it too long because I know you got stuff going on. We have any other questions that have been coming in here?
Seth Barbecue just asked, what got you into making knives?
Yeah, so we answered that one a little bit earlier. Again, I always like to emphasize I don't make them myself. I wish I was that kind of talented. I've got a lot of business experience behind me, so we do all the design work, we do the quality specifications, we have them manufactured for us, we do the final quality check and the warehousing and shipping on our side. What got us into it was just really a love for food and wanting to find a way that we could give back to that community in some way. So yes, it's a business, and yes, we sell knives, and yes, we make a profit, but we really take a lot of that and we give back to the community and do everything we can with it. And that was kind of the driving force behind a lot of it.
That's awesome. What you have any other big plans outside of the knives? Like I really like that I love the scrapers. I bought a crap ton of the scrapers and gave out a bunch of them as gifts and stuff.
Yeah, we actually got a couple of things in the works.
Anything
The next thing
that you care to talk about?
yeah, I can absolutely talk about it. We actually have my wife's excited about this one because it was largely her idea. She found a product and that she liked that was for cleaning knives, and
Ooh.
so we have our own version of that coming out that allows you to safely clean a knife. We've all, late night after hours and hours of barbecuing and stuff like that, we've slipped when we're cleaning our knives and put a nice little slit in our hand somewhere. So this will keep that from happening, and it works really, really well. So
Awesome.
those will probably launch here in the next couple of months, probably within the next 6 weeks, I would guess. But still waiting on some things to finalize on those. So really excited about those. Those are the next thing in line with that. We also did a trial run of some measuring cups that you'll actually see out there, measuring cups and spoons. So there's actually a few sets out there in the wild right now. We actually did a promotional with, we asked for some bread accounts so that we could send some stuff to. So we sent 4 different bread accounts, a bread knife, a bread lame, which we have, that's how you put those fancy designs in bread for anybody that doesn't know. It's technically pronounced lamb, but everybody says lame. bread lame, a space scraper, and one of these measuring cup sets. And so there's 4 of these sets kind of out in the wild. Actually, like 6 out in the wild. A couple of my ambassadors have them as well.
Oh, that'd
And
be cool.
yeah, so they're really cool. We got a couple little tweaks to them to make to them before we bring them to production, but those will probably come be released to the public probably by the end of summer as well, I'm thinking. So just finalizing some details there, doing some some small redesigns and some redesign work on the packaging as well. So those are kind of the next things that are non-knife related that are coming from us.
That's cool. That's some fun stuff in the works, and that oyster shucker too. That's something I saw that was kind of popped up in the comments there. I love the oyster shucker. That thing works amazing.
Yeah.
I've probably gone through 60 oysters already with those.
Yeah, I got actually that was an interesting one because there are 2 different types of oyster shuckers, and the East Coast guys, like, I got message after message saying, I don't know who designed this, but they don't know what an oyster shucker looks like because they're used to the long, skinny Boston style oyster shucker, and this is a French style oyster shucker. And I'm like, well, just because it's a different style doesn't mean it's not an oyster shucker. like I don't know what you want me to say here, guys. Like, it's if it's not the kind you use, don't order it. Like, like I don't know.
Exactly. And they're all incredibly affordable for any of you guys that are checking this out and you haven't seen. Yeah, Micro Oysters Mendoza. Any of you guys, if you haven't been on his website yet, check it out. You can see it pinned at the bottom, spacemannKnives.com. You're not going to find another knife that walks that balance of quality and cost effectiveness as well as these do. I mean, they're all super, super affordable, and the quality far exceeds the price point. And that's what makes me happy about them. That's why I'm a repeat customer, happy repeat customer.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Now, I did have one thing I needed to talk about before we got off this live. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I've watched a few of these. I've noticed that Heatstroke Nick hardly ever says anything.
Yeah, we don't allow him to talk.
Right. Well, I actually have some questions for him because I actually learned some interesting stuff about his history and how you never see him outside of his backyard. And there's a reason for this. Is that correct, Nick?
Yeah, I've been on house arrest since '98.
House arrest since 98. And why have you been on house
98.
arrest since 1998, Nick?
Well, it all started with my buddy Raul, and Raul was one of those guys that drove the boats over by the bay. We call them the ferries out here, and we had an operation where we got rid of some waste, and we got caught. But Raul, R.I.P. Raul, he was a great guy. He's the one that actually introduced me to barbecue. So after that happened, I just set up shop in the backyard, and that's what I do. I hang out here.
There you go. Now you know a little bit more about Nick.
That's right. He's got the ankle bracelet to prove it too.
It's bedazzled.
Bedazzled. I've heard great things about Raul over the years, man, but seems like the kind of guy that was always in just a little bit of everything that was just on the wrong side of things sometimes. But
yeah. For sure.
You know, he was a silly Billy.
Yeah. Well, that's rough, man. So how much longer is that house arrest gonna last? That's 98. That's a long time to be stuck in your backyard, man.
As soon as you come out this way, I'm off house arrest. So come up to NorCal and we'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen. All right. We'll cut it off with the Spaceman knife and set you free.
That's right.
Let's do it.
Awesome, man. Well, that's probably a great way to end this thing right here, man. I appreciate you coming on. Seriously, Ryan, means a lot. I got one last final question for you. In your profile, it says D Ryan. Is D short for doctor, or is it your first name?
No.
Your first name's with the D.
My first name's with the D. So
Okay.
I had that profile verified for a little bit. I stepped away from that for a little bit, but I had it verified. And to have it verified, you had to have your full name or an abbreviation of your full name originally when they launched it. So I had to put my first initial there to get them to accept my verification. And now they've gotten away from that. So you can just go with your middle name as long as it's the name you use and as long as it's on your legal ID. So if I re-verify, I might drop it, but I just haven't changed it. It's just my first name. My first name's Daryl, but Daryl was my dad's name. And so everybody's always called me Ryan my entire life.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
Well, man, it means a lot that you came on. Appreciate you sharing a lot of that insight and especially dropping the exclusive info about what's coming out in the future.
Yeah.
Really stoked about that. I did see a comment in here. Someone was asking, my boy Ty wanted to know if there's going to be a Spaceman Samurai sword coming anytime in the future.
We have not a samurai sword, but we did do some prototypes on some 15-inch sashimi knives. So they kind of look like a mini katana. The weight and balance isn't right on them yet, so and we anticipate it'll probably be a low volume seller. It'll probably have a higher price point and sell at a lower pace than some of our other products. So just time hasn't been right to bring it to market yet. So it's sitting there on the shelf. It'll get redesigned at some point and go on a diet and lose some weight, and we'll see what we can do with it.
There you go. Well, man, thanks again for coming, especially with you're in the middle of a trip. Tell your wife we thank you for giving us some time where she can keep an eye on things while you come on live with us, brother. It's an honor to have you on here.
Yeah, I did see a comment there about a Spaceman pizza cutter. We have a pizza roller that's available on the website. So there is one of those available on the website already. So go check that out.
There you go. Awesome, man. Well, you enjoy your time down there. Give our love to all the boys that are down there at the San Diego Grill Pros this weekend, and enjoy your stay while you're here in California, brother. We'll catch up again soon.
All right, sounds great. You guys have a great night.
All right, you too. Take care, brother.
Yeah, bye.
Happy Friday.
Bye.